All right, guys, welcome Jim Fiore, my old athletic director at Stony Brook University. All right, and he is now the business development expert at Sofilo, Italian-based eyewear company.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So welcome, Jim. And we have a lot to unpack, a lot to talk about of your journey of being an entrepreneur. You're involved in so many different areas, and so much people can learn from you. So you started off, you're a football player from Long Beach, right? And what was the first moment you're like, I want to be an entrepreneur, or I want to get into the business world, things like that?
I grew up, my dad was a cop.
Okay.
Got into the restaurant business, bar business, so I learned a lot. And I wanted to be the bartender right away. I was a young kid. He put me in the dish room. Yeah. And then he put me in the prep room, with the cooks, and always learn from the, start at the bottom, get to the top. And then our family flipped this business and sold it. And then he retired, and I ended up going to Hofstra to play for a guy my dad had coached, whose sons are all the assistant coaches at Maryland lacrosse now. So I'm very close. Guy's name is Jim Bernhardt, one of my mentors.
Awesome.
Anyway, long story short, it opened up a world of mentoring and leadership through athletics.
And that's what it's all about, right? It's all about, I was just trying to say it before, like it's all about connections, right?
Yeah,
People can lead you different paths, right? Yeah. And open up new doors for you. Yeah. That's always important. So football at Hofstra, you got that out of it. And you went to Springfield College, correct?
Yeah, got my master's in education at Springfield. Was a grad assistant for 2 years in the athletic department.
Okay.
Had a great run there. And then I did like a couple of internships. Fordham University, the NIT basketball office was based in Manhattan, did an internship there, which led into an internship at Princeton University.
So Princeton, awesome. So how old were you when that happened?
I was probably 22. I was 22. I spent about 18 months at Princeton. They were good to me. And then I got a full-time job at Dartmouth College and moved to New Hampshire for 5 years.
Wow. And what was your position at Dartmouth? What did you do there?
A facilities manager, like unlocking doors, setting up games.
At 23 years old?
Yeah, as a kid. I was an entry-level job, and then I got promoted a couple of times. And then about 5 years into it, the AD at Princeton, who his first year was when I was an intern, took a liking to me. And then he had a deputy AD job opened up. And I was probably 28. And he interviewed me. Just threw me a bone and said, I'll interview. And I ended up getting the job. And at 28 or something crazy young like that, I was a deputy AD at Princeton with Hall of Fame coaches.
With people around you who have like insane money. And
Nobel Peace Prize. Forget the money. It's like the level of quality. And being a blue-collar kid from Long Island, it forced me to elevate my game.
Of course.
How I wrote emails and how I articulated myself in public was just
so the way I see that was like you creating opportunity for yourself, which you didn't even know. So when you first got to Princeton, you had what was an entry-level job, right? You're saying?
When I first got to Princeton, I was an intern. That led into a full-time job, entry-level facilities manager, cleaning up garbage after games, setting up, scheduling the facilities, like real entry. Then I got promoted a couple of times at Dartmouth, had a great mentor.
And then you got you back over there.
Then they took me back.
But the reason why I brought you back is because I'm sure you were just treating that internship like it was the freaking Super Bowl.
Yeah, you got to be all in and everything.
And that's what you got to do.
All in, man.
Everywhere you are.
Yeah, all in.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. So, look,
Princeton. It's not hard to be successful when the world is full of average.
Yeah.
It's not hard to be successful when the world is full of average, and the world is full of mediocrity. And we're going to get to some other things. And comfort and softness and lack of toughness and lack of accountability. If you have any courage and any balls,
you could say,
or any ovaries, you can be successful, because the world is full of average, and we celebrate average in our culture. So if you're a little bit of a gangster like you are, that's what I love about you, and I've always loved, which we'll get into, I hope, about you.
Yeah, we can.
But I can assure you that in the real world, if you just put a little toughness, a little mother effer behind what you do, you're going to be okay.
No matter what.
No matter what, man. That's what I want to get into, because everybody's got shit that they're dealing with, ups and downs of life, and it's how you come back from shit is what's going to ultimately define you, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, no, and it's never going to be a straight path, right, to success, right? No matter what, right? Every day you'll experience something, right?
Nothing linear.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so Princeton, what happened from there? What was the next step?
So, I'm at Princeton, winning in everything, turn the key, with the best in everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, basketball's lacrosse national championships, women's lacrosse national championships. Let me just tell you this. We had a great women's lacrosse coach, Chris Saylor. Hall of Famer. She just retired a couple years ago, and I loved her. I really latched onto her.
Okay.
And I never forget. It's a great story. I never forget. We won our first ever women's lacrosse national championship when I was there.
Wow. And we're sitting, an amazing feeling.
Amazing. I get goosebumps today.
Yeah,
and
insane.
I'll never forget. We're at the press conference, and I always went to the press conference with a notepad and sat in the back because I knew I was going to be an athletic director one day, and I took my notes.
There
and
you
always, go. Right. So constant learning. And so I remember a reporter asking her, "Hey, Chris, hey, coach, this has to be so gratifying. You went to Harvard, you've been coaching at Princeton for so long, you non-scholarship, you beat Maryland." She's like, the journey is the reward.
Exactly.
And that stuck with me. The championship is the cherry on the sundae. So celebrate and enjoy the journey. Like you've done, like I try to do now. When you're in it, you don't realize you're in that grind. We complain, but the journey's the best part. Hitting the pinnacle is just the cherry on the on that sundae.
Yeah,
and so the journey is the reward, and I'll never forget that. So being around Nobel Peace Prize winners, Hall of Fame coaches made me better.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's true.
And that's so true because like day to day, like I wake up, and I was just saying this before too, like day to day, I wake up and I'm excited to get to work. I'm very stressed at times, right? And there's definitely ups and downs.
Yeah.
But I'm excited, like, wow, what could I build today? Who could I help today? Who could I, go after today?
Amen.
Like every single day. So like I am, I always have goals in mind. But you're right though, because like if I look back 10 years ago when I first opened Raft, almost 10 years.
Wow.
Like I would think like where I'm at now, I'd be so happy and satisfied, which I am happy and satisfied. But I would think like it wouldn't even be attainable where I'm at, almost in a way, right?
Yeah.
But like every day now, I'm just trying to get better and better and better, and I enjoy what I do. So, all right, cool. So, from Princeton, how long were you there?
Yeah, so I was at Princeton. I mean, I was in the Ivies for about 11 years, and then in 2003, in that world, in a lot of worlds, search firms, headhunters is the old term, search firms, executive search firms are hired to do their background checks on potential candidates and/or present candidates to an institution, an organization, and higher ed has gone very heavily into search firms. So I'm sitting at Princeton, I'm at Princeton, so the brand identity. Let me just say this. Let me say this too, just about as people grow their careers. I was taught at an early age two things. One, align yourself, attach yourself to a great person, a great boss, a great leader, and it doesn't matter where you are. You learn what you can, like a pilot fish eating off a shark, suck off the information.
And just learn.
That's
it.
Or if you don't have that, get to a great brand.
Yeah.
Connect with a great brand. So I had Princeton.
Yeah.
And that will always stuck on my resume. So Princeton, we're going to get the guy from Princeton. I was offered opportunities, even though I probably wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
So sitting there, I started getting introductions to these search firms. Ultimately, Stony Brook University hired a firm, and they called me about Stony Brook. I'll leave it there, and if you want to keep going, we go.
No, of course. So Stony Brook, so what year did you enter there? 2004?
So 03, I got the call. I interviewed at LaGuardia Airport.
Wow.
And I went in, never forget it. So there's 14 people around a long table, and
did you know of Stony? Obviously, you're on Long Island.
It was Division 12.
But it was like,
It was like, I'm like, what's Sunny? Sunny, what's they had four different names. Patriots. Well, Seawolf knew I had no idea what that was. SUNY Stony Brook, Sunny Stony Brook, University at Stony Brook University. And I grew up on Long Island. I wouldn't even think of going to Stony Brook.
Yeah, well,
it was Division 12.
Even when I was in high school, they offered me, I didn't even look at them because I was like, whatever. I was going to Hofstra, obviously.
Correct.
Hofstra dropped, so it kind of led me there. But
yeah, well, I'd love to talk about that because that's so important about leadership too, and your leadership ability. But so I'm sitting there, and I'm at Princeton, brand, Stony Brook, Division 12, meaning they were Division 3 and lost in everything.
But what's in between that opportunity, though?
The boss.
Yeah.
The woman so I met with this committee, and I went and I said to my wife, I said, look, if we're going to do this, I'm going in as a gunslinger.
Of course.
I'm going to tell them, like, I'm not, because there's no way I'm taking this job. So I'm going to go practice my interview skills. And so I went in and I said, look, got a clean house. Nobody knows what a Seawolf is. You haven't won a game. You have no facilities, no tradition, no money. This is the things. I'm not coming to be the homecoming king.
Yeah.
In other words, I'm going to be very unpopular, and the extent to which you all can live with that in a state environment and unions and stuff like that. Tenured coaches. So if I fired them, I had to keep them. So a lot of toxicity coming on board.
That sucks.
Yeah. So in any event, I never thought I was going to get the job because I was going to go to Bucknell. I was going to interview at Bucknell and Colgate. So I'm going to say, let me take an interview with this. And they pull me aside after I meet with this committee, and I go meet with the president. 67-year-old woman from the University of Texas, Southern draw. I'm like, oh my God, I love her. She loved everything I had to say, and she's like, went all in. And I called my wife. This is like when we had the old school flip phones.
Yeah.
Old school. Like with the antennas. I remember saying, I think we have a problem. She goes, what's the problem? I said, I think we're going to go to Long Island. I never thought I'd go back. But my father was getting older. My parents were aging out. And I'm like, they ultimately called.
So it kind of made sense then, in a way.
It made sense in a lot of ways, but your job's only as good as your boss.
Yeah.
And she gave me her word and in writing. So what I negotiated was, whatever you paid the last guy, pay me. Let me bring somebody with me. No search firms, no DEI, no affirmative action. I got to bring somebody. And 3, I got to report to you, not to 4 other people before you.
Yeah.
5, I want to have all final say on coaches and staff. Like, you're not hiring any coaches or whoever. And I want a 5-year rollover. And I said, I'm going to earn that, and then we'll talk about my salary in 2 years from now. So
basically, like, give me whatever pay, not worry about the pay. More like no politics, basically. That's all you care about.
Just let me do what I need to do.
Of course.
And she bought in.
Because you enjoy the journey. That's why.
The journey, man. And so, we got there and we flipped it.
So, like, just because I know the story, obviously. Explain how the team just, like, completely flipped, like, College World Series. Like.
Yeah, okay. So, obviously, they had won one conference championship. They had just gone Division I. So, they had won one conference championship in their history prior to that. One. 10 years later, we won 44. Raised $80 million, built the stadium, built an arena, built the indoor, raised the money for the indoor, got the naming right for the outdoor, for the arena, built the arena, built a weight room.
The weight room is sick.
Yeah.
Weight room is amazing.
We had philanthropy, nobody raised money there. We just had a good run. We had a great staff. I'm most proud of the fact that the AD that was there prior to me couldn't get a job.
Yeah.
They retired, or he was a tenure, and they put him on the staff at the school. But by a couple years after I had left, I had 4 sitting Division I ADs from Stony Brook. I'm proud of them, man. Like, they went on to do great things, and so you surround yourself with quality. It ultimately lifts. High tide raises all boats. So I think as a leader, it's about serving. Servant leadership at the end of the day is what leadership is about, whether you're an entrepreneur or
or coach in any area.
Yeah, it's about serving.
And that's what I realized when I walked in there. I met you. I'm like, this guy's for the players. He's not for not a bullshit AD. And like everybody knew that, so everybody respected that. So I guess it was more like all the success is because of like the culture you built there. Correct? Could you say that? Not all of it.
I get goosebumps when we talk. I get emotional when I talk about that time in my life because, we did a hell of a job there, man. I'm very proud. And for years after leaving Stony Brook, I lived in a real awkward place because it was very public. It was a very public setting. But man, we took football from non-scholarship. We should have beat Syracuse in one of the great plays in Stony Brook history. Was you pulling and Miguel going down the sidelines. The best block in Stony Brook history is your block. Never forget it. If you go on YouTube, watch Miguel Mason for Syracuse. Watch the center pull. Dead serious about that. We went from non-scholarship football, beating Army by 3 touchdowns on the road.
Yeah, that was
multiple,
awesome.
Going deep into the NCAA tournament, one trick play away from going to the Final Four in football. Sam Houston State.
Sam Houston State, man.
I love Dom Reyes. He bit. You can't bite on that, Dominic. I love him. Essington. Brett Arcee's my guy. I had bad ankle, couldn't get up for that ball in the end zone.
Well, for Syracuse, that's it.
Oh man, I love those. But again, relationships. I'm having fun because I love those guys. I love each and one of those people, and the women's basketball team and the women's lacrosse team. So anyway. My goal was everybody's going to experience an NCAA tournament. So women's lacrosse, men's lacrosse, baseball, College World Series. Men's lacrosse loses in overtime to go to the Final Four at home in front of a full stadium. Marching band, brand identity.
And that says a lot about you as a leader. Like all the players that I talk to, and you just mentioned, like they always speak highly of you and always appreciate what you've done for all of us. So like that's really all that matters, right? Is that at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, man. At the end of the day, I'm a father.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I try and be like, would I want my son to be with these guys? Would I want my son to play for this woman or play for this guy?
It's a good way to look at it.
And when I hire somebody, when I'm around in my workplace, do I want my son to be a part of this work culture? That's what everything begins and ends with. Everything else, for me, it's faith, family, and fatherhood. Everything else is noise.
That's what you always say.
Faith, family, and fatherhood. Not to be a Bible thumper. It's not my thing, but just I'm hooked in my trying to do the right thing. I'm a sinner. I'm flawed. And I'm not a big religious guy, but I have to hang on to something. And my faith gets me through. My family and fatherhood just got me through the hardest times and through the best times.
For sure. And then, okay, so like moving on past Stony Brook. So you said you had a couple of bad years, of course. I mean, that's fine, obviously. But now,
look, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Because let's not sugarcoat it. Job's only as good as your boss. We were rolling. Yeah. I was the next AD. Georgia Tech, Minnesota, UConn. Turning jobs down, turned SMU down, got offered the job to move to Dallas after the College World Series, turned it down. My boss retires unexpectedly. They hire a new person. I'm singing country. He's singing rock and roll. Yeah. It was really, he was singing country. Same page I was singing. No, man, philosophically. So he wants to drop the baseball team the year before we got to go to College World Series. Wouldn't do it. Yeah, nobody knows this. I'm giving you the scoop, bro.
It's ridiculous.
I'm giving you the scoop. Wanted to drop the baseball program the year before we got to College World Series. I went above him. Politically, it cost me a lot of money, a lot of political capital. 2, fire the basketball coach after we lose on a buzzer beater. That coach is now the head coach at Rutgers. I didn't just not fire him. I gave him a 5-year extension, $100,000 raise. Same thing with football. Gave him a 5-year extension, $100,000 raise. Got invited into the Mid-American Conference. The president turned it down.
I remember hearing rumors about that.
Got invited.
What year was that?
That was 2012.
Yeah, after we had 2 good years.
2 good years. We were right on the precipice. We should have gone.
I mean, 11 and 12, we were legit.
It was Stony Brook. Listen to me now. Liberty, Coastal, James Madison.
Where are they all now?
So, and so Stony Brook, I have one child. Stony Brook was my second baby.
Yeah.
It was our second baby. So and unfortunately, a change in leadership, job's not as good as your boss. And that person was, we were just very different. And when the bullets flew, he ducked. And I exited the industry. Yeah. And had to go through a very difficult time. But like everybody else in the world, man, you gotta fucking go. You gotta face it and go. And it took me a little bit of time. And then I'm better now than ever, having survived.
Exactly.
Yeah, having survived.
So just because there's always hard times in entrepreneurship too. So it's like,
bingo.
Just keeping forward to your goal and never giving up is the key, right? That's just the key, right? Just always staying strong. You know eventually it will get better. It's just you don't know when exactly, right? But eventually it's gonna get better, right? If you keep your mindset that way.
Dude, there's so many cliches, right? The storm doesn't last, it moves on, just hang in there. There's a story that you may remember. I always say it. I say it to any people whenever I give a speech or do a podcast or whatever. Let me tell you about running to the roar. So in the great
I remember this. Of course.
Yeah, right. This is important because I have to remind you. So in the African Serengeti, who's the king? The lion. Okay, they're the king of the jungle. They're the monsters. They rule the roost. Well, there's also the wildebeest. There's also the gazelles. There's also the zebras, right? And so in life, we have to deal with certain anxieties: a bad boss, financial, hard conversation in marriage, whatever that is, just tough things where everybody's fighting a battle you know nothing about. You are, my guys over here are, everybody you've had on the podcast, your parents. Be nice. Somebody's got some shit going on. Let's start with just being nice with somebody else. Let's give a hand and not judgment. So
agreed.
So in the great African Serengeti, there's the lion. The old lion, and her mane is worn. She lost her teeth. She can't hunt on her own. But the lions have to eat, and so what they do is she has to be useful. They send her out into the other end of the bush, in the distance, and the young killers stay on this side of the bush, right? And there's this big opening, miles long, to get to the water. And they wait and they wait and they wait until ultimately the gazelle herd comes through, or the zebras come through, or whatever animal, whatever food group comes through. And at the right time, she's up in the bush. She can't hunt. She can't catch. But the pride is waiting as well. And at the right time, she lets out an enormous roar. And she roars and she roars and she roars. And what do the herd do? Their ears pop up, they look up, and they listen to where it's coming from. What do? They pivot and run opposite to their death. They run to the hunters, to the killers. Had they just looked and ran to that noise, they'd be alive. There's your analogy for life. if you look at whatever that person is, for me, I had a boss.
Yeah.
He was my roar. If you run to it, or you're having a tough conversation, great relationships are built in the crucible of hard conversations.
Yeah.
Great relationships are made off of hard conversations. If you just go to that roar, whatever that is, and everybody's got the roar, it's the safest place. It's the safest place. But we run from it.
So don't like keep it to yourself either if there's stuff going on, right? Because that's exactly.
You know, and then you got to have your guys, man. You got to have like your three or four people that at the end of the day don't give a shit about your warts, that you can just be authentic and that love you for your warts.
Yeah.
If you got 3 or 4, man, you're blessed. Many people don't. And what I learned when I transitioned from being somebody that was feeding a lot of people and people wanted to be I thought I had a lot of friends when I was in my pinnacle of my life professionally.
Yeah.
And then the second I couldn't help people, that was the hardest thing, because the people I did the most for are the ones that ran the fastest.
Of course.
You know, and that happens in life. Like, everybody likes you, Mike, because they're all getting paid off of you.
Yeah.
You know, entrepreneurs, everybody loves the CEO, loves them. They're all nice to them, but they bite you behind your back. And the second you're not the CEO, that's when you realize who your friends are. That's when you find out. And that's a hard lesson to learn. I never forget, the AD at BU got fired about 6 months after I did, back in those 2014. He texted me one day, 6 months after, because of course I reached out to him, went and visited him, and hey man, I love you. You're going to be fine. Hang in there, because it's hard, man. You're alone. He wrote me a text at 6 a.m. one day. I still have it. He said, "Does it get any worse than when you open up your email inbox and it's empty?" I go, "Yep, it does." In other words, nobody wants you anymore. They don't need you anymore, and they don't stop needing you. Then you realize who loves you actually, and that's a hard lesson.
So how did you get past that part then?
I was blessed to have
what was next for you professionally
Yeah. So I had a great situation because I had 2 great friends, my college roommate, my high school, my boy from my high school. My sisters were lights out.
Okay.
You know, but I had to show my son. I have an only child, Michael, my only kid, and I had to show him, man, like I got to get up. And the days like you didn't want to do it, you got to get up. You got to show him like life's freaking hard, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking hard, but it's also a glorious opportunity to get up and prove to the people that supported you that you were worthy of their support, not the people that hurt you or want you to be down or whatever that is. You want to prove to those that were with you that you were worthy, not the opposite.
Just forget about those people.
Forget that, man. They're irrelevant. Anyway, so then after that, I took some time off. I was paid full year. Look, if I had done anything wrong at Stony Brook, I'm not paid $1 million.
Yeah.
I was paid $1 million, won an additional settlement of significantly 6 figures. Without getting into the weeds, you can Google it, you can look it up, whatever. Yeah. So had I done if there's anything wrong or illegal, no way Stony Brook is going to pay me. You know, or the state of New York actually is going to pay me. They did 2 investigations, came back with no findings. So today it'd be called fake news.
Yeah.
And back then, you know, I don't want to get into the weeds on why, who, what, and where, but there's evil in this world, man. And today would have been a different situation because I would have gone public, you know. Back then, you say, I take the high road. I want to thank everybody and keep it moving. Yeah. But took a year off and then just started back into the business, man. Just started hustling and building relationships and creating pockets and opportunities, which we can get into.
And was that Wheels Up next or no?
So next was my guys at Dynamic Sports Management. They run like the best, you know, largest, classiest, well-run youth lacrosse organization. They own multiple properties across the country. They brought me in as a CEO.
What's it called?
Dynamic Sports Management. You should have them on. Yeah. This guy Sean Chamberlain, Stony Brook guys.
Okay.
This guy Ray Suris, George Breris, whose wife was Alyssa Strusenberg, which is a great pitcher for us at Stony Brook. So Stony Brook guys reached out and said, "We love you. Come on, we need your help." I stayed there for 18 months. They really did it, but I kind of just helped them. And then the CEO and founder of Wheels Up, private aviation company, was private at the time. Mm-hmm. Said, "Hey, I think we got a great opportunity for you. Want you to, be a senior vice president and come join us in New York City." Private aviation company, membership based. We were private, and then I ended up running a sales team out of New York. We went public. Went public. I took some time. I had invested significantly early in 2 startups, that being one of them. It went public. Okay. Took some time off after that. And then a friend of mine called me up about Safalo, and
awesome. And
I jumped in on it. Yeah.
So like, how was that feeling though? Taking that company, Wheels Up, big company, public. Like, how?
What a learning experience, dude. Because I always say, like, if my higher ed experience was an actual company,
Yeah.
I'd be retired. I would have been retired.
Yeah, you would have been.
Because we went from 0 to 180.
You would have made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, done. I mean,
been stupid money.
I'd be living in Palm Beach, you know, on the water down there. And
so you learned a lot there, though. I'm sure. Obviously,
I learned a lot. I learned about creating pockets, besides like you're doing, right? You have obviously curbside, you got RAF, and you got Ignite, and I know you have other things cooking. I was always singularly focused on higher ed, and I gave up opportunities to invest with others that would like want, hey, you should jump in on this with 25.
So it was a blessing in disguise.
It was a blessing because it allowed me to, it forced me to be more creative in my income, where I was so used to every 2 weeks getting paid, having benefits, having retirement. It was a lot to be said for that. I'm not knocking it.
Of course.
But I was forced to pivot a mindset. And Wheels Up taught me a lot about that. How to sell, how to hunt, how to eat what you kill. Mm-hmm. And then I always go back to recruiting. You know, you need animals to have a circus. You need good players to win games. There's a lot of coaches that are out of coaching because they didn't know how to recruit.
Of course, there's two sides
of the business,
that are in
the Hall of Fame, Mike, that can't coach.
Yeah, they can recruit though.
They can recruit. They got dogs. They got animals. You know, and you can give a lot of examples, and I will. Jim Boeheim, Mike Krzyzewski. When they don't have players, that if you put Mike Krzyzewski at Long Beach High School and ask him to play UConn, I don't care who your coach is. Of
course.
You need animals to have a circus. You need players to win games. It's like that in business. You need great salespeople. You need great trainers speaking in one voice who are all in with you. And if they're not, they got to be exited. And those are the hard conversations. You know, these great relationships happen in the crucible of hard conversations. And as a leader, you must have hard conversations because it festers and becomes cancerous. And it ultimately hurts you.
Yeah, it hurts the team. It was just an effect that goes down the line. So what would you say the most important part is or piece of building a team is?
Obviously the people. So getting people that make you better, that are that you can lean on in good times and bad times, who you trust, having a vision, sticking to that vision. Vision is not, oh, you know, we want to be the best gym on, you know, Cherry Valley Road.
Yeah.
No, we want to be elite nationally, internationally. So having a vision statement, this is what we're aspiring to be. Number one, you know.
And make sure everybody's on board with that. Basically.
Everybody and every decision you make along the way, Mike, every decision you make, little and big, is all geared towards getting to that. So if you shoot for this and you land here, wow, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not international, but we're the best in the country. If not in the country, we're the best in the Northeast. If not in the Northeast, we're the best in New York State. You know, but you're better than where you are, where you started, like you're doing. So every decision, so that's one, having a real significant vision, having funding towards that.
For sure.
Creating investors and creating people that buy in. Mentoring is so important because getting somebody to believe in you, getting somebody to be invested in your journey, like kind of like I think we are.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, because I'm invested in you. You call me up, I will stop and I will give you what I can give you. I will support you when I can support you. Having people to invest in you, you know, as a mentor is so important.
So now into Safilo. So how is that going? How did that come about? And like,
friend of mine, my best friend. Yeah, my best friend from my upbringing. You know, his cousin was like a senior regional manager, and they called me up, and I said, I'll give it a shot. And it's a totally different industry. You know, it's eyeglasses, Italian company, and I liked it. I just happen to like it. I like to eat what I kill. And then every year they've grown me and elevated me, and now I kind of, you know, I'm running the sales for the 5 boroughs, Long Island up to Westchester, and I'm what's titled as business development expert, you know, hunting new business. You know, I'm not going to self-promote, but I'm doing well at it. You know, I'm having success. I think the company's been very good to me. They've acknowledged, I think, effort.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky to have great people I work with and for. My team, I have a great team, and at the end of the day, I like getting up and going to work. But my work used to define me. That's the biggest difference, I think. Or, you know, I was this.
Yeah.
Now, like, what defines me, honestly, is who I am. You know, and I'm much more authentic.
Okay.
Than I was. I was a politician.
Because you didn't have to deal with the bullshit. Yeah, you don't have to go around that. Yeah.
Media, the public.
I mean, that's one thing that I'm blessed. Like, thank God, I don't have to do that. I mean, they say like businesses you have to, but like I don't really give a fuck. It doesn't really matter to me. Like it's like this is how we are. This is what we do. If you don't like it, that's cool. That's it. Yeah. That's why I love Dana White with all the stuff that he talks about. You ever hear him talk about that? It's just amazing. And
I love how he talks about if at this age group, if you're a fucking savage, because the world is so freaking soft. You can't critique somebody without getting in high. Forget high rate. Corporate America, I'm in it. Like you have to be uber careful about how you articulate something or your frustration, because we all have frustrations.
It's ridiculous.
Let's go. Come on, you gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. And a sense of urgency. This era, they lack urgency.
Yeah.
Mom and dad's rubbing backs. Where I was brought up with you were brought up, and I was brought up with a swift kick in the ass.
Yeah.
And that's how I tried to raise my son. Kick him in the love, kick, let's go. And when all shit fails, I'm with you. And that, to me, I think people yearn for that. I think as a country, as a culture, we've given up on tough.
On all of that.
On tough love.
I mean, people know how I lead in my businesses. And it's like, I'm just completely transparent. It's like, if you don't like it, that's fine. Like, we could have an easy conversation and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. No, and that's why I love to do what we do, because I get to, create it. Like, I'm a creator. I like to create what we like to, like what we want to do. And that's just how we go about it. And like,
what's been like your toughest, when you look in that mirror and nobody's around, you're saying, I'm not dealing with this, or I haven't dealt with this. I need to address this. You don't have to say something personal, but like professionally, what has been a couple or one thing that you feel like you're proud of that you addressed and got better at? I don't want to give you some ideas, but
professionally, you're saying?
Yeah, forget personal. So
one of the biggest moments I'm proud of is like during the COVID era, we just kind of like when everybody else kind of collapsed and kind of just like, just listened to what was going on. We just kind of, I mean, you were here during it. I mean, we were probably the busiest gym in America in that time, because we were just, we just did. I mean, listen, the beginning, yes, we closed down a little bit. I never closed down for one-on-ones. We were in here doing it. Restaurants too. I remember my partners calling me and just asking if maybe we should close down. I was like, absolutely fucking not. Like, we're not. We're doing what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I think in both businesses, like that was a big pivotal moment to success. I think a lot of businesses during that era, really, whoever was strong and stayed to the word of everything and just kind of stick to their guts, they're reaping benefits from it.
Dude, I was here for that. I mean, I was here for that. And you got me on my fitness journey, by the way.
Yeah.
I lost a bunch of weight. I got fit. I'm 55 in August, and I feel better now than I ever have in my life. And I get up every day. I got a routine. I go jump in the ocean every day, 12 months a year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We had 25 people up here in classes, and nobody was sick.
Oh, it was great, man. I was here. I remember being 5 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch dark, waiting for you guys to open the lights.
And I remember the health department walked in once, and I was like training somebody, and I was like, it is what it is.
You were awesome, man.
At this point.
You know what? You really saved. You helped a lot of people, man, because it was like what people don't like to talk about is the mental health, the neck up. And you allowing people and you having the courage of your conviction helped, including me, and I'm grateful, thank you, for allowing people access to what's most important. That's mental health, and how do you do that through exercise, in my opinion. Not drugs, not meds.
For sure.
You do it through through exercise.
For sure. That's so key. And, that was one big pivotal moment for me, I guess, like in business that, I thought about, there was a couple of days I thought about closing it down. That was it. Like, thank God I didn't do that, because it led to so many other things for me. On the field, I didn't have a lot of rough stuff on the field, but when I got to college, though, I was never really a center.
You got to tell everybody the story of taking the shirt off.
Oh, for Coach P? Yeah. So I'm getting recruited. And what was it? So it's 2010.
Yeah.
So I'm in Coach P's office, and like he's not sure if he's going to offer me or not, or he did offer me maybe.
Yeah, you were on campus.
No, I think he wanted to see it.
He wanted to see you in person.
So he's like, "Let me see you." He's like, he brings me in the room. My parents are outside the room. He's like, "All right, take off your shirt. Let's see what you got." Basically. So I did, and then he's like, "All right, great." Like, and then he offers me a full ride after that, basically. And then
you went on to be the best center they've ever had there. And I don't know, we don't follow them, but I'm not to be. You went on to be an amazing leader there, an amazing player there. We ran the shit out of the ball because of guys like you and Cody.
I mean, we had tough motherfuckers up there. That was
Scott Hernandez. You had some really good tight ends.
When I got there, I was never really played center before, and
oh really?
I played once in high school because the center went down, so I couldn't grasp like the snapping the ball underneath the center. I couldn't grasp it. Coach P kicked me out of practice. I never forget. So kicked me out of practice. I'm a freshman, like first day. I'm like, fuck, this is terrible. So I'm like crying, calling my dad. Yeah. My dad's like, you think it was going to be easy? Yeah. Like, you know? So I was like, yeah. Your
dad's awesome.
I was like, never really had this before. And then the next week or whatever it was, went back in. And I'm thinking I'm redshirting as a freshman, but went back in and just wreaked havoc. I didn't give a fuck. I got in a fight with Rosie. Was it Rosie? I think it was Rosie. 4-year senior. I got in a fight with him. I just gained respect, and that was it. Every day I was just fighting and just sacrificing my body. And I learned a lot through that. I kind of regret sacrificing my body. I'm in pain a little bit now.
Are you?
But yeah, a little bit. But
you look great, by the way. You lost a lot of weight from
there, for sure.
How big were you? What was your heaviest?
300.
And you're what, 6'2", legit? 6'2"?
6'1" and a half.
Yeah, okay.
6'2" on the books, 6'3" in the books probably.
Yeah.
But like all of that stuff has taught me how to be resilient, you know? And I'm kind of thankful for that now, you know, mentally in business, because there's a lot of days where I'm like, fuck, like this sucks, right? But getting past that stuff, to look back to those harder times, and you know, I had 3 foot surgeries, all that stuff. Looking at that stuff helps me kind of move forward. So, So right now, what do you? So I know you have the company, you're in charge of that. Any startups you're investing in?
Yeah, I invested in a few startups. One was Wheels Up. I invested in a company called Juice Press out of New York. It's a health food industry.
Okay.
A friend of mine from high school, I got in early there. They've grown. They've done a great job. My buddy Mike Karsh is his name. Done a great job with that. So when I was at Wheels Up, I invested in a few startups.
Okay.
And then I've always liked helping people. Like I talk about servant leadership all the time. Like
that's what it's all about.
It's all about, man. And the second you stray from serving, whether it's youth, friends, family, clients, whatever, the second you stray and you listen, all great leaders have a little narcissism in them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying narcissistic personality
disorder. I got you, for sure.
But you got, because that corner, that C-suite, that corner office, that CEO chair is lonely, man. Everybody's a tough guy or a tough girl when they're number 2 and number 3 and they're not. But once you sit in that chair, then the bullets are flying. You have to have some courage and some leadership, and you gotta need a little narcissism and a little self-confidence. So
for sure.
Yeah. So I invested in, and then so along the way, I for the last 10 years, I've had just a white glove company called College Sports Services, where I take families through the recruiting process.
Yeah, you helped a lot of our athletes too that spoke very highly of you afterwards. So
I don't get in, I don't drop names because they pay a good fee.
Yeah.
I don't publicize it. I keep off the radar. It just allows me to just continue to do what I love, and that's to help other people in a space where I have great relationships.
Exactly.
A lot of the assistant coaches and the interns are ADs and head coaches now, and I'm very proud of that network of people, and I'm very blessed to be able to help others kind of attain their dreams and goals of playing Division III, Division II, Division I. I don't care about what level.
For sure. No, you definitely had those relations, because I remember when we were working on a little project together.
Yeah.
We had Jim Tressel on the Zoom call, and I'm sitting there like, holy shit, like I'm pitching to Jim Tressel right now.
Yeah, he's the man.
And I was like probably I was probably like 26, 27, and I'm like, Jim Tressel's on here. I just knew about this guy my whole life.
He would have given you money too.
I know he was definitely about it. We just couldn't get the other part to it, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
But
let's stop at that. Like, you invested, you put money into it. I'll talk about
a failure. Well, not a failure. It's still a loss.
Financially, you lost.
Financially lost.
Right?
Yeah.
However, you had the courage to end it.
Yeah.
And too many people in business continue down that. At some point, you got to either somebody's like your dad or somebody's got to tell you it's a loser.
Yeah.
We tried it. You got to keep trying it at some point you keep trying. Something's going to hit. And it may be, but that experience will help you on when that next opportunity comes, or ultimately. So yeah, you lost on that financially, but you learned about other people.
I learned a ton, and I networked like crazy. I learned a ton through that. I mean, we met with Rogue Fitness twice, meetings with them.
Oh, I know.
We met with
the
Jim
Cornell
Tressel,
guys. You met with those guys.
Cornell guys. We also met with Kentucky's AD, which was awesome. So like that was a cool experience for me. Just being in the meetings with them and just kind of pitching to them. So that was really cool. But for me, it was easy. So like, because COVID happened, and that's when I started that, because my gyms was closed down. So I didn't really, we were here a little bit in the morning, and that was it. So like, and then the gyms came back and it was easier for me to put it away. What would you give advice for entrepreneurs that are trying something, they're maybe pouring some money into it, and like, when do you know when to stop? For me, I kind of had that, the COVID restrictions come off, and that kind of helped me get back to my normal life. But what if I didn't have that? I don't know if I would have stopped. So like, what would you give advice on that? When do you know when to stop?
Well, let me first say this. Life is a war.
Yeah.
It's battleground, battle. So, in war, truth is the first casualty. In war. So be honest with yourself. Be honest with those around you. Be honest with your investors. Be honest with...
Yeah.
So in war, because everything is a war. It's a war of your mind. It's a war physically. I'm not talking about war like, I'm not trying to analyze the guys that are in Afghanistan or... obviously, that's real war. I'm just mental warfare.
Yeah.
Financial warfare, because, I'm not speaking, I don't count people's money, but not everybody has money just to burn.
Yeah.
Even people with money don't just burn, because the reason why they have money because they don't burn.
Exactly.
So in war, truth is the first casualty, the first one to die. So if you're not honest about yourself or what's happening or where this thing is going, the partner you're with, the investor, it's a problem. That leads into casualties.
And deeper problems.
Deeper. So the first one is the truth. And when you stop being honest with yourself and being introspective on every level, marriage, life, money, children, coaching, whatever, business, in war, truth is the first casualty. So be honest about how is it going. And having those around you that you...
I think that's key, right? Having people around you to tell you that.
That will tell you that you say, shit, Mike's telling me something. I hate hearing this, and this is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But fuck, he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because I know you have my best interest at heart.
Yeah. And you had my best interest, because we had conversations, of course, every day when that was going on.
Yeah. Because you were dealing with some politics, right?
Yeah, exactly. So... yeah, that is true. Having those people around you that you can trust that will give you those honest, feedback is key. And you can just call somebody up and get their opinion. I think your dad
is like that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, no one knows that guy's a gangster, man. That's old school. Guinea Gindaloon. I love that guy, man.
He's definitely like that. So I'm blessed to have that. He was just kind of put it how it was, and I was, just...
But look, man, he also...
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
He fed you.
For sure.
He didn't do the work for you. Here's an opportunity. I'm going to give you, I trust you and believe in you, Mike, but he wasn't like, hey, here's more money.
Never.
Let me wipe your ass. He didn't do any of that. He was tough. I watched that.
Blessed for that, too.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even want me to take over the beverage store. Like, he didn't even want me to take it over.
Right.
He kind of wanted me to learn my own stuff on my own. And, not that he didn't want me. If I wanted to, I could have, but I didn't really want to.
My father was an only child, grew up in the Bronx. My mother grew up in Lower Manhattan, one sister. And my dad became a cop. Got to be a cop. Got to be a cop or a fireman. Got to be a cop or a fireman. And by the way, I love, I'm all about, that. So,
of course.
But my mom said to, I'm in Hofstra. I'm like, I'm going to take the test. I'm going to be a fireman or a cop or whatever. No son of mine's going to drink beer in a firehouse. We didn't put you in school and this and that for you to get shot at. And I'm like, that's what I know, though.
Yeah.
That's what I know. It's what I've seen. That my dad's like, every 2 weeks you get paid, great pension, great benefits. And so you start getting intoxicated with that.
With the comfort of
that. The comfort of it. Yeah. And so my mother, to her credit.
So thank God she said that.
Wouldn't let me leave the house to take the test. Literally, like it was physical.
How crazy would things be differently than...
we don't know what could happen, right?
Crazy, right? You would have...
9/11, we don't know. Maybe I'm in the South Bronx at the worst time, the worst moment. We don't know. So you can't, nothing's linear.
Yeah.
Nothing's linear. So, and at some point, I really do believe you just got to put your faith into something and go.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what's next, Jim? What are you looking to do next? I mean, I know you want to just help people. That's kind of sounds like the way you want to go, but anything on the horizon or?
Yeah, I'm trying to create other pockets, find income pockets. My son is now entering. He's going to be a 5th year at football player at Union College as captain. Yes. Thank you to you. You've
awesome running back. Breaking records there, correct?
Yeah, he's good. He's got a chance to go down he's doing a good job. Got to keep that guy's head a little humble. But he's good. I'm all joking aside. I love him. I'm proud of him. He's a all academic student, first team all league athletically, first team all league academically. He's a captain. He went to the right place. A former coach of yours brought him to Union, Jet Behrman, who I adore. He has a great coach now. This guy John Drock. So I'm very proud of him. But he's going into the workspace now, and I'm watching him evolve, and I'm watching him trying to find his way. He's going to play one more season, got one class and take and play one.
That's what season. I did senior year at Stony Brook.
Yeah. So he's going to enjoy that, and then it's over. So my part of what I like to do is I want to. I've opened him up to my network, and all summer he's been meeting with my network and talking about different parts of industry, not just sports, obviously, but.
He's got to figure it out. He's got to figure it out. And you got to let him figure it out.
Let him go.
Exactly.
Got to let him go.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, we're not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And he's going to have his own children, God willing. And, they got to, when you're a parent, too many parents try to catch their kid at every mistake, every fall. The key is you teach your child at an early age so that when they do fall, they scrape their knees and they don't break their neck.
Yeah.
They scrape their knees. They get hurt, they break a bone, but they're not, it's catastrophic mistakes. So I think we've done a good job. I think Lisa and I have done a good job of teaching him kind of adversity. He's lived through some adversity in his life, but he's also a tough kid physically. He's a tough kid mentally, and he's got a very bright future because I think he's more on the savage side than he is.
He definitely is.
Need mommy to rub his backside.
For sure.
It's okay. No, we don't do that.
Yeah. Without a doubt. So, Jim, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this right now would want to, contact you. What's the best way to contact you? They want any advice, things like that?
Yeah, go through you. No, I'm kidding. Listen, contact my cell number, 631-987-2700, baby.
There you go.
Easy. Suffolk County, 987-2700.
You want any advice, guys, hit him up. Jim's helped me tremendously in my journey, and couldn't be more thankful.
I appreciate it, man. I'm so proud of you, buddy.
Thank you. Love you too.
I love you, man. I'm very proud of you, and people are smart to listen to what you have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Great leader, great captain, great person.
Thanks.